We are here today to talk about a new Arrow 4K UHD release of a 1993 action science fiction with a little bit of comedy mixed in there. And this film, it has a bit of a cult following, but it also did very well in the theater, so it has a mass audience appeal as well. And this new Arrow 4K has a very impressive slip box. Look at how thick this thing is. Now, this is Demolition Man, which stars Sylvester Stallone, Wesley Snipes, and Sandra Bullock. But you see, this has a slip cover over a slip box, and this is there's not that many of these that I've seen from Arrow, and I think it's a pretty good idea. A lot of times you'll get a slip box, and this is the Robin Hood one, but it has like a slip box with with the disc in there. Now this does have a slip box, which we'll look at here in a few minutes. But here on these, see on the back they have it's almost like taped on there, like the information that's on this slip cover. So this is almost like an improved way of doing this. And here's another couple examples of both of them. Here's a True Romance Arrow slip box that slips open like that, and you've got the disc in there. Now here's one that has a slip cover over a slip box, just like Demolition Man of Warriors. So it does that. But I think this is the only one that I have with the slip cover over the slip box. I think it's a pretty good design, and we're gonna take a look at this the physical release of this during this video. I'm also gonna review the movie. I'm gonna recap the movie a little bit without giving away major spoilers. We'll see. I might give away something major. I don't know yet. Haven't decided. But I'm eventually going to rate the movie on a scale from 1 to 5, with 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. And I'm going to also rate Arrow's presentation here. And if you haven't done so already, if you'd go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel. I'm Dave Watkins, Watkins Films. So does this film from 1996 hold up today? Now, some of the effects, especially some of the science fiction effects, may not look too good. Now, most of them do. Most of them look fine. There's some digital effects here and there that aren't quite right, but they're not very few of them, and most of it's done practically, so it looks pretty good. And also, as far as like the action pieces and the set pieces, both Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes are in their prime when they made this film, and so they both look great on camera as far as their age, and the stunt work is fantastic. I assume like most of the time they may have done their own stunts in some of the instances, but as far as that type of stuff, most of it looks very good, and it comes off very well. This was done by a first-time director. His name was Marco Brambilla, I believe, but it was his directorial debut. He'd previously been working on a lot of high-budgeted TV commercials. Here, after this, he didn't do a lot more. He did another film after this called Excess Baggage, and then he did a Dinotopia miniseries. But this is his biggest blockbuster film to date. Like I said, it did good in the theater. I think it went over budget, or they went over days on it, but I think it did well. Maybe not well enough to justify continuing to hire him as a director, but unfortunately, because it came out pretty good, and I've always thought this film was a lot of fun. And as far as the fun factor of it, and it is cheesy, but I think it still holds up today. Sylvester Stallone plays a cop in 1996 named John Spartan, and what's funny about the film, 1993. Now, the beginning of it takes place in 1996. It's only like a few years like past present day. So, but a lot has happened in those 3 years, and the place is like a disaster. It's like you have Wesley Snipes plays a villain named Simon Phoenix, and he is burning L.A. and he's got fires all over L.A. and he's burning it. And Sylvester Stallone's character is kind of honed in on him, and he traps him inside of a building. And like Wesley Snipes got like a bunch of people he's already killed in the building, and he ends up blowing the building up, and Sylvester Stallone saves Simon Phoenix, like Wesley Snipes' character. He saves him, and like a hero would typically do in a film. And then he gets outside, and then the cops find out there are dead people inside there were people who were killed who were inside the building that Sylvester Stallone's character, John Spartan, didn't know about. And somehow they blame this on Sylvester Stallone's character. Wesley Snipes also gets arrested. They both get put in. 1996 is funny because it's only like a few years. They have like a cryo prison where they freeze prisoners and they put them in a cryo chamber and save them for later, I guess. But most of them are prisoners. The cryogenics is, like, as you know, I don't think they've As far as I know, they haven't developed it enough to be able to freeze somebody and reanimate them, but maybe they have and they just hadn't let us know. But they freeze these criminals, and then they freeze like John Spartan, Sylvester Stallone's character, who's a cop, because they somehow pin this other thing on him. So that's one thing I think that's a little weird about the film. It's like it's kind of an odd thing to freeze him over that, even though you could pin it on him a little bit, but it would be more of a maybe you've seen cops get arrested for something that happened to a criminal during an investigation. So I guess maybe there is some possibility to it, but that kind of from the beginning that is a little annoying. Now, what's interesting about the film, like Fred Drecker did a rewrite on it. He's uncredited rewrite on the script, but he added this prologue to it. I think the prologue both hurts and helps the film. It kind of gives you these characters in their first space, because what happens is they're cryogenically they're frozen, I think, for like 20 years, and then they're later reanimated. They're in a completely new world, but it gives you the backstory of the characters. But it doesn't. But it hurts because it's Sylvester Stallone's character being frozen. It's just like an odd thing. So, but it kind of works. I'm not saying it doesn't work. But it makes you think about it more. I think if you didn't have that, you wouldn't think about it. It would just be like, okay, there's a cop that's frozen in here, and something happened to him in the past where he was framed for something, but now we got to unfreeze him to help save the present day world. Present day, really the future in the film, but what most of the action of the film takes place in 1932, which is 35 years after Wesley Snipes' character and Sylvester Stallone's character are frozen. What happens is it's kind of now the world is more of a utopian society. Everything seems to be in pretty good harmony. The cops hardly have any crime, and everything just looks like it's really nice. But there is a little bit of something going on. You see, like these graffiti artists who live under the ground, or they have like a spray paint that comes up and it spray paints a sign, and then the sign it's futuristic, and it just immediately cleans itself. Everything is just clean and looks very nice, except for the people living under the ground, who seem to be a bit of a threat. Now, they have a resistance leader named Edgar Friendly, is played by Dennis Leary. Now, I think a lot of these characters have some kind of symbolic meaning, the way that their characters are written. Now, he is a resistance leader, and his name's Edgar Friendly. So friendly means is nice and friendly, but he at first appears not to be, but later on, it's kind of revealed that maybe he is. John Spartan, he's a warrior, like a Spartan warrior, and Simon Phoenix, like Wesley Snipes' character, who a phoenix, like the bird, will like burn up in the ashes and then rise, and he kind of at the beginning the thing explodes as he rises back. Later on, they bring him back. So there's like some, they thought that they were going to name them in ways that kind of fit their characters. Anyway, back to the present day, or the future in the film, which is 1932. We're introduced to the cops. Other than Sylvester Stallone's character, the main protagonist is played by Sandra Bullock. Sandra Bullock is really cute in this film. She plays a cop, and she's got a fascination with like old like 1996 type of pre-utopian society stuff, and she's got a bunch of memorabilia and things of that nature from that time period. She's very fascinated with police work from that time area. She's really she's excited about. She wants something to happen so she can get involved with real police work. But I think this role for her was kind of the role that kind of catapulted her to stardom. I don't want to give away every single plot point in the whole film, but I will say that's kind of how it gets started. And not that there's anything too winding or twisty or unexpected that happens in the film, but it stays true to what it is, and it is a lot of fun if you enjoy this type of film, and it looks really good. It looks even better here in 4K than it does. I do have the Blu-ray here as well, which the Blu-ray itself looks pretty good, really. I took a look at this again after I watched this, and this looks really good. Now, you do see an uptick in detail here. There's also, you can see the blacks are deeper. There's still, you can see some film grain here. It was shot on film, but the film grain is fairly resolved. It's not distracting to me. I didn't really pick it up as being like overly grainy. Now, the detail's not, you do see it on some close-ups here, but not necessarily all of them. Some of them seem not like out of focus, but some of them do seem a little soft and not as much detail as you would expect there to be. Arrow Video does not in this, you know, they don't have a Blu-ray in this set. We're going to take a look at it here in just a minute. I want to talk about one other thing before taking a look at the set. Now, when inside of this, there are two versions on the disc. There is an American version that is funny in the film. They have Taco Bell in the film, and it's kind of they use it as both a product placement and a joke within the film. And then that's the American version. In the international version, they have Pizza Hut. Now, of course, I've seen it a bunch of times with the Taco Bell in here. So I decided to take a look at this one with the Pizza Hut. And, you know, it's on screen, like the Pizza Hut logo. So I'm not sure exactly if when they shot it, if they had to shoot it with Pizza Hut. But I guess they decided to use Pizza Hut in the international. Apparently, the international people don't know Taco Bell. Or they didn't at the time, maybe. But so they use Pizza Hut, which doesn't make as much sense here as Taco Bell. Now, to me, McDonald's would have made more sense, or Burger King, if that's known internationally. I would think it should be, but maybe it's not. And the joke is, after John Spartan, Sylvester Stallone's character, he saves this high-ranking politician played by Nigel Hawthorne. He saves him from Wesley Snipes' character. He invites him to come to dinner at Taco Bell. Apparently, Taco Bell there's a franchise war, and it's the one that won the franchise war. But here in the international cut, there's the American cut's on here too with Taco Bell. In the international cut, it's just not as funny though when he invites him to go to Pizza Hut, because Pizza Hut, unlike Taco Bell, it's not really fast food, because you go and you sit down and they'll come and wait on you and bring you the food. The actual restaurant in both of the films, the food doesn't look like Taco Bell. It's actually fairly upscale food that they bring him. It doesn't look like Taco Bell at all. But that also, there's one other thing I need to mention too that's hilarious. It's the 3 seashells. Like, and also people can't cuss in the future. Like if they drop the F-bomb or whatnot, it gives you a citation. But so Sylvester Stallone goes to the bathroom. And he's like, "What's these 3 seashells about?" He's like, "There's no toilet paper in there." And they're like, "Oh yeah, I know." No, he's like, "What's going on with the bathroom? There's no toilet paper in there." And he's like, and they're like, "Oh, you didn't use the 3 seashells?" And then Rob Schneider's character, which is a pretty hilarious part, he's like, "You don't know about the 3 seashells?" And then it's just, and Sylvester Stallone's just like looks like he's about to kill him. It's kind of an in joke here. I don't think there's really an explanation about how the 3 seashells work. It doesn't explain it in the film, and I think it's just like a joke that they just threw these 3 seashells in there, and there's just no way. How do you wipe or clean yourself with the 3 seashells? Maybe there's some kind of like you hit the seashells and then you press them, and then some water comes up from the toilet like a bidet and like cleans your butt. I don't know. I mean, I think the comedy aspect of this film really helps it a lot in terms of its durability. If it was just straight action and serious, it would not be nearly as fun. But let's take a look here. So we got this slip cover over this slip box. Here's your slip box here. Now, here you go, the Demolition Man. On the back it says SAPD, so the San Angeles. That's like what's now after the fires that destroyed Los Angeles. It's now become like a combination of different places, and they're calling it San Angeles. On the inside of this, we got the disc. Now this is going to be, if you order this standard, they'll come out with a standard release, and if you order the standard release, this is what you'll get. And also on the inside of it, like I was saying before, there is one disc, and that is a 4K. There's not a Blu-ray. And you have some cards. Here's just a poster card with Wesley Snipes and Stallone. It's the cover, and there's like Stallone's character being unfrozen. And here, let's see. Here's another Sylvester Stallone. He's got this cool beret hat that he wears sometimes, and he has it in the future when he's doing his stuff. And later on, near the end of the film, he puts it back on, and it's like one of those moments where the shit just hit the fan. We're putting our beret on. There's Wesley Snipes fighting some people. Wesley Snipes, by the way, is hilarious in this film. He is having a blast playing this like kind of wisecracking psycho character. He's very deranged, but he's also got a bit of a sense of humor, or he thinks that he's hilarious. There's Sandra Bullock's character. Here's Sandra Bullock with Sylvester Stallone's character and Benjamin Bratt's character, and there's another good one of Wesley Snipes. So let's get into these other couple of items we have here. Now, we do have some stickers. Now, there are the 3 seashells. That's hilarious. Now, this says life is hell. Now, this is the graffiti that Dennis Leary's character sprays on stuff, like life is hell. Now, which is completely contrasting with the people above, because you got these utopian society above that are just living it up. They're having the grandest life ever, and below you got the peasants living in a really awful world. And so those guys below are of course going to want to uprise and go against these people up top. There's a booklet in here, a lot of information about the film. There's some essays that people wrote about it. There's also a lot of pictures. There's Wesley Snipes and there's Stallone. A pretty nice booklet that comes with it. And one other item. This is a poster. Folds out. This is a double-sided poster. So there's this. That's just Demolition Man, and this is the original movie artwork. This is better of the two. It's a pretty good. Now there's a lot going on here with this set. It's a very thick, very impressive set. It's a good one. All right, so let's go ahead and rate this thing. Now I'm going to rate this film. I'm going to give it 4 stars. It is a cheesy film, but it also is a lot of fun, and I think I did see it in the theater, and at the time I thought it was a lot of fun then, and I still just watching it again. Every time I watch it, I just think it's a bit of a blast. Now, as far as what Arrow has done here, I'm going to give them a 4.5 star. They've done a terrific work, especially on the physical release part of this. This is fantastic. But the 4K transfer is also very well done. And by the way, I didn't mention it before. It does have an HDR, which really brings out the flesh tones, and they all, when it's supposed to look like flesh tones, when it's supposed to look natural, it does look very natural. Oftentimes, some scenes it intentionally looks clinical, or it looks like there might be some weird lighting going on depending on where they're at. But it really brings out a lot in the colors in general. Now, I would recommend this film. The Blu-ray, like I said, it does still look pretty good, but for physical collectors, I would highly recommend this just because of the box. But the 4K transfer is also an appealing aspect of it, even though again, the Blu-ray still looks good. But I think if you want just a standard release of this, once it's released, I would recommend it just for the 4K transfer. Now, if you haven't done so already, now would be a good time to go ahead and like this video. And if you're still watching at this point, I appreciate you still listening to this thing. But if you would like this video, subscribe to my channel. I'm Dave Watkins. Thanks for watching.